if you talk about myself, I have a few certification in my bag. Okay, so starting from an EC Council, or you call it often CompTIA, I hold few certification from both the domain. Okay, particularly of in cloud, I have few certification from in cloud as well, and I do take care of an auditing part. Down the line, I hold it is if we are into in cybersecurity, what I think that every day we have to keep ourselves updated, isn't it? Because if you want to survive into the market, we have to keep ourselves updated because there are each day new attacks have been happening. So make sure you have the update of that. So domain 6 will be of an ISO 27001. Now, what is an ISO? It's an international organization for standardization. Okay, so it's not an acronym itself, it's a standard. Okay, so we are going to discuss about ISO 27001. 27001 talks about an security, information security, particularly to an information security. Okay, how we are going to implement this standard inside an organization, what need to be take care. Okay, it's totally depend on to an organization to organization whether they want to go with the standard or not. It's not a mandatory. One more thing, it's not a mandatory thing, depending on to the organization whether they want to implement the standard or not. Okay, the agenda for this day 30 will be, we're going to discuss about an ISO standard family, 27000 family, what are the advantage of ISO 27001, all these things. Okay, so let's get started. Now, what is an ISO? I will be talking much more about this term. Okay, I will be talking about and all the other standards as well. So for that, at least just get a basic understanding. So ISO is what? ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. Okay, so your privacy protection information security management system and the requirement, it's the standard of it. Okay, so there are n number of standards available: ISO 27005, ISO 27001, ISO 27002. Okay, now there is a difference between in that as well. 27001 talks about the requirement. Okay, requirement, that means it's a mandatory thing. It should be implemented. 27002 talks about the control. What control to be implemented. 27005 talks about your guidance. Okay, controls and guidance are those two things which is giving you an extra value to it. It's not an again mandatory thing. Requirement is the mandatory thing. So ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. It's a non-government organization that develop and publish the standard. So when we talk, when this particular thing has been out to the market, so majorly it is giving us two standard categories. One is your requirement and one is your guidance. So requirement standard means there are certain requirement which need to be mandated for any organization or to fulfill to get the certificate. This need to be fulfilled. Okay, now where else your guidance standard talks about it's a recommended. Post the certification, if want you can adopt that thing, if not it's completely fine, but requirement standard that need to be regulated. 27001, this is what, this is your requirement. 27002, this is what, this is your guidance standard. Talks about information security control which organization can implement. Okay, and this control has been included under your 27001. Okay, we call it as a annexure A. Okay, now why this thing has been required, why a organization required ISO 27001, why we say that, what this thing will be doing, what extra value it is going to add to manage information security, data security. Okay. So let's say you're visiting a website. Okay, it's an e-commerce website. Let's say an Amazon. Okay, so sale is going on in Amazon. You want to purchase some item. Now, what you will be doing that for to purchase any item, you will be adding that item into your cart. Once it has been added in an cart, post to that, what you will be doing, you will be making a payment, isn't it? Now, while making a payment, what information you are sharing over there? We are giving our name, we are giving our phone number, email ID, and the card details. Okay, all this information are your PII. PII stands for personally identified information. Now, I want this information to be kept safe and secure. Okay, this information should not get leaked. How I am going to trust this organization? ISO 27001 is building the trust. If that organization is having an ISO 27001 certificate, that means they are having certain standards, security standards. All the information which has been kept is been tested and then it has been implemented. So it is building a trust relationship between the customer and the consumer. Okay, you are sitting into the class as of now. So you are trusting InfosecTrain, isn't it? You had given some information, your email ID, your phone number. Now it's our responsibility that information should be kept safe and secured. Now, basis onto the standard, by checking onto the security standard, there will be a trust relationship built between any particular user and the organization. Again, let's say, okay, so let's say I'm storing some information. Now, opposed to that, whenever we implement any standard, we do an assessment. So I guess so. During this session, this 30-day session, you started with an basic, okay. Then we moved into offensive, then into defensive, isn't it? So what we learned in offensive and defensive, what we learned during that time. Okay. Let's take into an offensive only. We looked into how to perform an attack, isn't it? Why we are performing an attack? Can anyone tell me why we are doing that? Why we are finding the vulnerabilities? What was the reason behind it? To check the flaw. If there is any flaw, fix that flaw. We are bypassing the control. These are the security controls which are being implemented. So we are bypassing these controls. Okay. To bypass the control, what we are doing? We are doing a risk assessment. If there is any loophole, fix it and add a new control. Okay, so ISO is talking about that controls. What controls to be implemented? What policies to be implemented inside an organization? Okay, so many a time you have seen if you are associated with any of the organization, okay, there will be certain policy when we enter inside an organization. So we cannot directly go inside an organization. First, what we have to do? We have to punch an access card, isn't it? So what we are doing at the first step? Identifying ourselves that we are the authorized one. We are having the access to enter inside the premises. Okay, not only that, a security guy has been sitting. What he is doing, he is monitoring who is entering inside the organization, who is exiting from that organization. Okay, again it comes into your standard of an security control implemented by an ISO. It talks about your physical security. Okay. Once we have an access, we go inside an organization, we open our laptop. After that, what we do? Log in. For that, credentials have been required. Okay. To access that network. Okay. Not only that, certain privileges have been given to that ID. Isn't it? We cannot access each and every data or the database. Do we? Do we have the access? So what it has been implemented, certain rules have been created. What that user, what he can access, what cannot. Privileges have been assigned over there. Okay, so every employee will be having different privileges. Let's say I'm working into an SOC team. Okay, so L1 team will be having certain privileges. L2 team will be having certain privileges. Managers will be having a certain privileges. Nobody, no one is having the same privileges. Okay, so if there is any attack happened, okay, so there will be no advantage of it. So he need to perform a privilege escalation. If we give full access control to all the user, it will be a problem for an organization, isn't it? Okay. So we implement the standard. Onto the base of that, we do the testing of the standard. We call it as a risk assessment. If there is any gap, we fix that gap. So we have many standards. In fact, we have 27,001, 27,002. We have 14,001, which talks about environment management system. 9,001 talks about quality management system. Okay, so we have 2000 20,000 standard till date. It has been more than 20,000 standard till date, which has been introduced by ISO. We have 45,001, which talks about occupation health and management. 41,001 which talks about facilitating management system, 5,001 talks about energy system management, 22,301 talks about business continuity. Okay, so these are your certification standard. For every different roles, every different responsibility, we have a category for it, which has been developed by this ISO standard. Okay, ISO is what? ISO is not an acronym. Okay, it stands for International Organization Standardization, but it's not an acronym. Why so? Because ISO, when they develop this, they realize that if they go with an acronym, it will be very much difficult for each and every place, or let's say for each and every country to recognize it, because for different countries there will be a different language or different word to be chosen on. Okay, so they go with an one standard process, that is an ISO. Similarly, same goes for PECB, same goes for PDCA as well, same goes for ISMS as well. Okay, PDCA, can you tell me what is the full form of PDCA? All the standard follows this PDCA. Correct. Plan, do, check, and act. Okay. Now, what is in plan, do, check, and act? What is PDCA? Okay. So first we plan the thing. What is the objective of it? We define a scope. Okay. Asset of inventory, risk management framework. Let's say when we prepare for an exam. Okay. I want to prepare for an exam. First, what I will be doing? I will be planning it. What to be studied. Isn't it? I will be making a notes. Once the studies have been completed, then I will be writing an exam. Okay. Once the exam has been written, results will be out. Okay. So what I will be doing, I will be checking. I had, let's say the exam is for 100 mark. Okay. I had prepared for 80 marks, but when the results are out, I got 60 marks. Okay. So I'm going to check where my 20 marks have been deducted. Okay. So I will be preparing for it. I will be acting on it. Where my 20 marks in been deducted, let's focus on to that area. Okay, fulfill all the requirements, study this topic, and again plan for the next exam. It's in continuous process. Plan, do, check, and act. Okay, again plan for the exam, write an exam, evaluate yourself, and if there is any scope or any requirement, or let's say any particular thing you have been lagging on, fix that thing. Clear with this? So in plan, we objectify the things, we define a scope, assess inventory has been taken care, risk management framework has been attached to it. We are going to identify the risk and how to score them. We are going to define the risk treatment plan. Okay, so we have the risk treatment plan. We are going to identify it. We are going to write a document on it. Okay, then we are going to implement that plan. If anything to be changed, we are going to change that thing. Once it has been done, we performed an audit of it. Okay, internal audit has been performed. Check all the controls. Okay, if there is any risk assessment has been done, check the report of it. Okay, find out if there is any finding, fix that finding and act on it. If there is any improvement to be required, act on it, add a new control, and again perform the same activity. This is what your PDCA talks about. ISO is talking about your standards, and this has been implemented more. This bodies has been standardized more in more than 160 countries as of now. Okay, so the final result of an ISO works as an is been published and is used as an international standard. Okay, so majorly what I said, there are more than 24,000 standards available. Okay, and this was been implemented in the year 1947. So it started in 1928.
till 1942, and in 1947 it came into the picture and we started working onto it. Okay, so different country we have got their own national body. For example, in India we have Bureau of Indian Standard, BIS. We call it as an BIS. In UK we have British Standard Institute, BSI. Okay, so ISO would be having its own. So if we go for a BSI membership, so various countries or various organizations will be having their own members. Okay, so whenever we process, whenever this process comes into the picture, so we are going to develop a new standard and we are going to revise the standard. ISO 27001, what is the standard of it? When it has been updated? When it has been released? Correct. It's 2022. Revised and published in 2022. We are using the new standard. Previous to that, 2013 was been used. Okay, so we had adopted the latest one. Okay, so ISO has released more than 24,000 standard as of 2021. Till now, we have more than 24,000 standard. Okay, down the line, this list keeps on updating. Okay, now when ISO has started the standard, have a look over here. Okay, now when we talk about 27,000 family of a standard, okay, so this has been developed and given a common vocabulary. Okay, so overview of an information security, it talks about an information security. There are certain requirement and standard for ISO 21001. Okay, so that means an organization can get itself certified ISO 27001. Okay, the organization which deals with PII data. PII data means PII data means personally identified information. Okay, so which organization deals with all this data under your PIMS, Privacy Information Management System. Now, again, this standard is under review and then it has been managed. Now the standard very soon it will get updated. Okay, so old standard previously which has been applicable, which has been going against the organization 21001. Okay, so organization already certified, and then again the standard which we talk about 27006, it is not meant for a corporate, it meant for a certificate body. When it has been started in the year 1990. Okay, so back in those days, it is known as your code of practice when it has been published by your UK department, UK Trade and Industry. Okay, so your BS standard, then it has been updated to BS standard in 1995. Code of and practice was been published. Okay, followed by the part 2, updated on 1998. BS 779 part 2, information security specific was been published. Okay, then in the year 20,000, the British standard has adopted by your iOS, which has been given its own name, 17,799. It was again a practice code. Okay, in 2005, what has been done? The standard got revised and ISO 27001 and its requirement standard was been published. Okay, again in 2007, ISO 27006 was been published. Okay, which means for certification body that, and if the organization want to go for an auditing, okay, it should be onto an information security field. Okay, then in 2008, 2012. Okay, so what has been happened over during that time? Multiple other standards was been added in information security family. Okay, then in 2013, it's got revised. Okay, so ISO 27001, 25,000 standard was been decommissioned and we started using 2013. Then in 2019, again, it remains the same. Okay, so they revised it, they check on the controls and they adopted the same. In 2019, they said, okay, we had already reviewed, let's continue with this 2013 standard. Then now in 2022, it's been revised. Okay, so as per ISO, all guidelines, every standard will be revised in every 5 years. Make sure this things is getting revised in every 5 years. First, it has been reviewed and then it has been published. Okay. So when we talk about 27001, 2005, it was been in review, okay, in 2010. Then what happens post to that in 2020, 2013, new version was been published. Okay, then every 5 years it keeps on updating. There will be again a process will be going on. So they each and every department and the system, they sit together, they work on it. Okay, they review all this. If there is any additional things to be required, they update the standard and they publish the standard. Okay, so in case if you want to check the status of any standard, what you need to do, just visit any of the ISO, just visit your particular ISO website. Okay, search for any standard and you can look into what it has been published, what standard is running on, and what has been published. Okay, so you can search it from here. Let's say 27001. Can you see life cycle? Okay, so over here, what it's been talking about? Previously, it was 27001, 2013. It's been withdrawn. Previous to that, 27001, 1/2014. It's again been withdrawn. These are the previous standard. Now 27001, 2022, it's been reviewed. Stage is 6060. If we click over here, it will give us complete information. First, it was preliminary. Second, it has been proposed. Then it has been preparatory. Then committee has been sitting and they have been checking onto it. Inquiry has been done. Approval has been done and now it has been published. It's into an publication phase. Okay. Then again, it will be into a review phase. So you will be seeing a review over here and then into a withdraw phase. This 27001 2022 will be coming over here and new thing will be updated. Now this thing happens every 5 years. Okay, so you can check for any standard, just search for the standard, and you will be getting a complete life cycle of it. There are other standards as well in 27,000 family. Okay, so when we talk about 27,000 family, so they had been developed a common vocabulary. Okay, so it's an overview of an information security. There are certain requirement standard. Okay, so ISO 21001, it's a requirement standard. It means organization can get itself certified. Okay, so organization, if it has been required, straight away they can go with an 27001. Okay, now the standard is also under review and it soon it will get updated. Okay, if the organization is already certified, it will be an existing standard. There will be an again a requirement standard which we call it as a 27006. Okay, so it means it is for an corporates only. Okay, so 27001 information security management, then we have 27001 privacy information management system. Okay, so 27701 talks about your privacy information management system. Again, to whom? To this is particularly for your certification body. Okay, so let's say I want to go with a certification of PCB. Okay, I want to write an exam on ISO and I'm purchasing this certificate from PCB. There are many other certification body available. So we have TUV as well, we have IGC as well. Okay, so there are n number of certification body. Now I want to purchase this from an PCB. Now it's mandatory for PCB that they are 27701 certified. Okay, so this is for a certificate body, not for an organization. Okay, now then we have an guidance standard. Can you tell me what is a guidance standard? What does a guidance standard talks about? Requirements are mandatory. So when we talk about 27002, it's a guidance on information security control. Then we have 27003, guidance on implementation. 27004, guidance on monitoring, measuring, analysis, and evaluation. 27005, guidance on information security risk. 27007, guidance on auditing. Okay, so these are industry guidance. Again, requirements are mandatory. If we are already certified, we can add an guidance standard on it. Okay, totally depending on to an organization to organization, whether they want to adopt it or not. Then we have the industry standards, like for your telecom sector, guidance is given under your 27011. For your health and information, guidance has been given under your 27099. Okay, so there are multiple other standards as well available into the market. So you can check for all those standards. We have a number of what do I said? We have more than 24,000 plus standards available. Okay, so these standards are very much specific as per the requirement of your ISMS. Okay, so we have clause 4 to clause 10. So requirement clause will be expressed as a verb shall. That means it shall implemented. Okay, so in total, by the list of in 2022, how many information security controls are there? I'm talking about 2022, the latest one. Okay. So in the latest version, we have 93 controls. And previously in 2023, there were 114 controls. Okay. And it has been categorized. Okay. So as you see into the earlier version, 2013, that version is talking about 114 controls across your 14 domains. Okay, started with A5, which talks about which is having two controls. A6 is of an organization on information security. A7 is on human resource security. A8 is on asset management. A9 is on access control. A10 is of an cryptography. 811 is of an physical and environment security. Then we have A12 operational security. A13 talks about communication security. A14 talks about system acquisition, development, and maintenance. A15 is talking about supplier relationship. A16 is talking about information security incident management. A17 is talking about information security aspect of business continuity management, and A18 is talking about some compliances. Okay, so in total we were having 114 controls across 14 domains. Okay, so as per the latest version, the new one, 2022 version, we are having 5 controls. Okay, so A5 is having 37 controls, talks about organization control. A6 is having 8 controls, talks about people control. A7 is often physical controls. In that we are having 14 controls. A8 is talking about technological control. In that we are having 34 control. In total, 93 controls are there. Okay, so this is the latest one. Okay, so as the organization were free to choose or to identify their potential control from the different standard or from the different resources. Okay, so as per the first review, 93 controls. So any exclusion or inclusion must be justified. If we are excluding any control, that again need to be justified. If we are including any controls, that again need to be justified. In most of the you can say in most of the cases, almost 93 controls have been applicable when it has been linked with an assessment. Okay, if required, we can add an extra additional control. Okay, again, when we are adding an additional control, justification to be given. Okay, so if you remember, when we are doing a pen test, so what we do after the pen test? Once the pen test has been done, once we have the findings, details of the vulnerability, post to that, what we do? Before fixing the vulnerability, report. Correct. Okay. We are giving each and every information in that report, isn't it? How we performed this pen test. What was the IP address? Post to that, what were the loopholes? What is the vulnerability? So by looking at the report, we can fix that vulnerability. Same thing, if we are adding any control, we have to give the justification of it. Okay. So if you are selecting any control, again it should be documented. The reason to be justified, that each security, when it has been included, you should provide an answer to it. Okay. What do you think? This control is applicable or not? Okay. Again, if you are excluding any control, organization again need to justify exclusion, or usually done when we are, you can say, when there is any violation on legal security, or there is any particular contractual requirement like screening of employee background verification. In many of the countries, you can say it's not a legal requirement. You cannot do the background check or the verification because it invades your privacy. Okay, so like we are working remotely nowadays, so organization do allow people to work from and remote. Okay, in many of the organization, there is no option of a remote working. Okay, everyone has to be onto an office premises. So over there, this control is not applicable. Which control? Remote working control. Okay, so why we are excluding this policy? Why we are not having this remote working policy inside an organization? Because it's a mandatory process. Everyone to be coming to the office and working from there. SOC team, majorly, they are sitting onto an office premises and working it from there. Okay, so every time the information, or you can say justification, to be given. Okay, so we have different ISO controls. So for information, we have information security policy control. Now, what we do in this information security policy, what control we are going to add in this? Password management. Okay, password management is different. Sharing governance, access control. Okay, correct. Okay, so in this we are going to define what policies to be implemented. So we have acceptable encryption policies. Okay, we are going to implement your physical security policies as well. So every policies will be controlled over here. So how the details are getting stored. Okay, how the database are been maintained. Okay, so what information are getting stored over there, how we are going to secure that. So majorly we can say all your CIA is been taken care over here. So what is in CIA? We call it as a three pillars of an security, isn't it? In this three pillars, your security has been setting confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, if I ask you all guys, can you please share me your, let's say, your address? Can you do that? No, isn't it? Because it's an confidential information that need to be kept private only to the authorized person. Only he can know this. Only we will be sharing with that. Okay, so we are going to maintain the confidentiality. Whatever information is getting stored, that need to be stored. Okay, that need to be confidential. Okay, in integrity, what we are doing over here? Yes, correct. No changes, data should not be manipulated. So how we are maintaining the integrity? Okay, we are maintaining the integrity by hashing. Those who said encryption and decryption, it has been done at this stage. Okay, so in confidentiality, we are going with an encryption. Integrity, to make that information safe and secure, not to be added. Let's say I asked for an address. Okay, you shared that address over the chat. Now, in between, someone manipulated that address. or let's say I send an email to you, each and everyone. Okay. Again, in this email, some information are there, confidential. Let's say some details have been provided. Okay. Let's say the meeting link has been provided. Now this meeting link, can you say it's an confidential details? Okay. If I send an email, and let's say someone has tampered that email. When I sent a meeting link, someone has shared some different, let's say, a different website link. You are going to click onto the link, isn't it? Because you are trusting InfosecTrain. Okay. So to make the trust, to build that trust, we are making this information safe and secure. How we are doing that? By going with an hash of it. We are adding a hash value. Again, when there is any, if you visit any of the website, how we are trusting that website? If you store any information by looking at the certificate, isn't it? So always make sure you look at the certificate when who has provided the certificate, when the certificate is getting expired, each and everything. Is there any particular, you can say, SSL is been used or not? Okay, that is going to build a relation. Now by going with a hash, we maintain the integrity. Okay, whenever we want to operate that website, it should be available. I'm sending, let's say this time I'm sending a recording. Now that recording is an confidential information, only will be shared the participant who has joined this training, isn't it? I don't want any other participant to be received this recording. Okay. Now there should not be a temper of an data manipulating of that recording link. So I need to maintain the integrity as well. Not only that, whenever you want to access the recording, it should be available, isn't it? If you want to access the recording by night, it should be available. So we are making it sure all this information are kept secured. Okay. For that, what we are doing, we are implementing these policies. How we are going to maintain the integrity, how we are going to maintain the availability, how we are going to maintain the confidentiality. So we have certain policy to it. Organization of information security, human resource security policy. Again, can anyone give me an example of a human resource security policies? What policies HRD has been implementing? Disciplinary policies and correct. Offboarding, onboarding policies, correct. Background check, correct. Okay. So have you guys noticed when, let's say, I cracked an interview, okay, I started working into a new organization. Now today is my first day. On first day, when we go to the office, during that time, what has been happening? Today is my first day, correct? I'm going to sign an NDA. Post to that, asset will be allocated, isn't it? Post to that, ID creation has been done, which is going to identify the individual, the person, isn't it? With that ID, I can access the laptop. With that ID, I'm going to access the server. Okay. Along with that, what is going to be happen? HR is going to explain terms and condition of their organization, isn't it? About the holidays, about each and everything, what are the workings, what are your hierarchies, correct? Orientation, yes. Training has been provided. Roles and responsibilities have been updated. Do's and don'ts, correct. Okay. So when this everything has been worked or is everything has been listed, it's coming under your ISO standard. What policies to be implemented? What need to be updated? Okay. Then we have the asset management. When we are getting the asset, let's say I'm getting a laptop, post to that, what I can do with that laptop? Yes, can anyone tell me? What can be done or what cannot be done? Use policy installing mandatory application, correct? Correct. So what to be used? What website to be visited? Okay. No installation of a third-party application. Many a times, what we are getting over here, if you are operating this laptop from outside the network, use VPN, isn't it? Because for an organization, internal network will be unsecured one. Internet is an unsecured network. If you are sitting in the internet,
So we use a tunnel in between. For that tunnel, we use a VPN. Use a VPN to access this internal network. Okay. Again, the policies has been implemented, updated to the user, how to use it. Okay. For an organization, asset is what? What is an asset? Asset are those who are having a value to it. Okay. So this laptop is an asset. Employees again an asset. Employees are also having a value, isn't it? Okay. Table, chairs, all these are asset. Now, what we are doing in ISO, we are giving and controls. We are implementing a controls. Okay. How we are implementing the control? By evaluating the risk of that asset. Okay. So what is the value of this laptop? What is the value of the employee? Evaluate the risk on it. Okay. Let's say I'm sitting in front of my laptop. Okay. In my hand, I'm holding a glass full of an water. Now, will there be a risk for my laptop? Either this water may fill or may not. So what that thing is? That's a risk which is going to impact my laptop. Okay. So what I'm doing over here, I'm evaluating a risk. Risk is again a probability. It may happen, if it may not. You have heard into many of the videos as well, particularly of you can say of share market or particularly of a mutual fund. Mutual funds are subject to market risk. Today, if I purchase any particular share, now on second day, it may go up, it may fall, isn't it? So it's a probability. Same over here. Risk is what? Risk is a probability. What we are doing, we are performing a risk assessment. By looking at the probability, by performing an assessment, if there is any additional controls to be added, add it. If not, but try to bypass this security control to check the vulnerability. Okay, so we have an access control policy. What is an access control policy? What we do over here? Okay, now what I said, we enter inside an organization, what we do? We punch a card, access card. What that access card has been telling about? You are the authorized person, isn't it? Those who are the authorized person, only he can access this premises. Okay, when the HR is allocating a laptop, along with that, credentials have been given. Post to that, many a times when the credential has been received over an email, what additional information has been given? Whenever any credentials have been received over an email, there is again a line is been written, a information has been written over there. What that information is? Can anyone tell me? A password has been received over an email. By logging inside this page or inside this particular, let's say it's an server, okay, or the database, reset the password. Or else whenever we receive a password, a banking sector password, post to that, second page will be of an reset of a password, isn't it? Okay, so whenever we receive this such kind of an email, whenever we receive a password over an email, the second option will be often reset the password, because by any chance that email got leaked, by any chance someone is sitting onto the same network and he captures all the details. So we don't want that information to get leaked. We don't want that PII to be get leaked. Okay, leaking of an PII, we call it as a doxing. Okay, that's the reason we had implemented this policy. Once the credentials have been received over an email, post to that, reset that password, reset that particular default password. Don't use the default password. Okay, cryptography. What is an cryptography? Correct, correct, correct. Okay, so have anyone looked for, have anyone seen the certificate of the web page? Let's say this is the web page. What information do we have over here? Okay. First thing we have, who is the issuer of this certificate? Who has provided a certificate for this web page? Okay. What is the validity of it? Okay. So by looking over here, we can say we can trust this website, isn't it? Okay. So cryptographic failure, many a times there is a, you can say there is a vulnerability as well. Okay. In web application. cryptographic failure. Okay, what that vulnerability has been talking about, the data which has been traveling, okay, from one source to another source. Let's say from this website to the database going into a plain text format. We don't want this to be happen. If the data has been traveling into a plain text format, anyone can read it, isn't it? Okay, I want that information to be kept secret, a private. It should be into converted into an hash. Make sure of it. Okay, so by looking at the certificate, we can see there are certain public keys as well. Okay, now along with public key, the private keys have also been sent. Public key will always be available, but not the private key. Private key will not be available. So let's say they are using certain certificate. Okay, if I want to send a message or if I want to upload some data to this website, how this data will be traveling? Okay, first the message, then the hash will get attached to that message. Post to that, a private key of an A will be attached. Post to that, public key of an B will be attached. Now the data will be sent to B. Now B, what he will be doing? He will be decrypting this packet with the public key of an B. Then he is going to decrypt this packet with the public key of an A. During three-way handshake, they are going to share their public key. Okay, so this private key can be encrypted, can be decrypted with the public key. Post to that, there is a message. He's going to decrypt that message. Once the message has been decrypted, hash value get calculated and it is going to verify both the hash. If both the hashes matches, that means data is safe and secured and you are maintaining the posture of it. Okay, for this as well, for a you can say for a digital signature as well, we have a policy for it. Acceptance policy, digital signature, privacy policy. Okay, so first thing we are going to propose the things and digital signature. Okay, so we go with an overview. Overview, we're going to see the proposal. Okay, the purpose of the policy. So we go with a company name, the information to be given over here, authorized person to use the digital in connection. Then the scope will be provided. Okay, scope of the policy. What is the definite appropriate dial-up access of the unauthorized user or the person will be, and then the policy. Okay, so who can access this website? Not only that, is there any particular dial-up, dial-in connection, or how is this website to be visible into the open internet as well or not? So many times, what organization do, they build certain website and that they keep it onto a DMZ. DMZ is what? It's a demilitarized zone. Okay, so when the request is been generated, it will go inside an DMZ and from an DMZ you will get your reply back. We are not relying onto an internet. Okay, we had deployed that server onto an DMZ directly. If anyone from an outside want to access it, he cannot do that. Okay, to access this, set into the network, use a VPN and access it. Mail servers. Again, mail servers have been deployed onto an DMZ. Okay, so we are making sure who can access, who cannot access. Again, it comes under the policy of your digital cert signature policy. Physical and environment security. Okay, so can I say I'm 100% secure? Can we say that? No, we cannot. Okay, so when we build a house, let's say this is my new home. Can I say my house is safe and secure from uh, theft and from burglars? Okay, so what I will be doing, I will be adding an extra layer of security. I will be adding a door and a lock over here. Now, can I say it is safe and secure? Okay, let me add an extra layer of security. This time I add a fence. Now, is it safe and secure? Okay, let me add an extra layer of insecurity. This time I add a CCTV over here. Now can I say it's safe and secure? Okay, this time I add one more layer of insecurity. A security guard has been sitting over here. Now, is it secure? Correct. We are only minimizing the risk. It's not 100% secure. There is no term of an 100% secure. Okay, we are simply adding an extra layer of insecurity over here. Okay, so I can disconnect this CCTV. Okay, what if the security guard has been sleeping in between? Anyone can trespass. What if the security guard is not available? Okay, so for the organization as well, whatever the budget is, organization, let's say the budget is more than a 10,000 USD, more than a 20,000 USD, still we cannot say it's 100% safe and secure. We are adding the security. In physical security, what we are doing? We are adding your physical security, your CCTV camera, okay, the punching machine, biometrics. Okay, not only that, we use the facial recognition as well. Not only that, what we use? Access card. We add in physical security as well. A security guard has been sitting. He is doing what? He is monitoring. Again, with this, we are monitoring. Logs are getting captured. Isn't it? Okay, so no matter what of insecurity, we are simply adding an layer over here. Environmental security. What we do over here? We are going to check where we are going to deploy the servers. First, we are going to identify whether that area is not having any particular natural calamities. Okay, if we are having a backup of it or not. Okay, by any chance there is a fire. If we are having all the systems placed corrected or not. Okay, anyone aware of a sprinkler system, how it works? Okay, so this is a pipe. In this pipe we have a water. Post to that we have an fire detector alarm. This fire detector alarm is going to detect if there is any particular fire or not. Okay, sprinkler system not only going to detect, it is going to protect as well, isn't it? If the temperature is beyond 67 degrees Celsius, there will be a bulb which is going to break it, and post to that water will get sprinkled. Okay, so we are adding the level of insecurity depending on to the organization where it is been placed and what to be implemented. Operational security, again, how to be operated, how to be manage each and everything. We have an particularly controls for it as well. Risk assessment policy. Okay, if there is any router and switches, for that also we have having certain policies. We are implementing certain policies for it. So we have a communication security, we have information security management policy, compliances as well, supplier relationship policies as well. Okay, if we are using any pen drives, for that also we are going to create a policy. Okay, who can access the pen drive, who can use the pen drive, which ID to be allocated over there. So for each and everything, we are going to set up a policy over there. Okay, location based policy as well. Yes. Okay, now there are certain questions. Have a look onto the question. And okay, environmental policy is what? Let's say first we are going to set where we are. Let's say I want to set an data center at one place. Okay, so before to that I'm going to monitor, or I'm going to check that location, whether that location has not been affected with any environmental calamities. Okay, not only that, I'm going to make sure by any chance if there is any fire, okay, what need to be implemented inside that premises. Fire alarm, okay, sprinkler system. Post to that, there should be within 30 minutes, within a minute or two, should be a call given to nearby fire station, and they should be available. Not only that, the bus will be allocated. Okay, so all these are your environmental security we are going to implement. It comes under your environmental security. Okay, so ISO 27000 provides a requirement and organization certifying an information security management system, requirement of an information security management system, guidance on auditing information security management system. Okay, so most of them have been saying it's an B. Okay, so it is talking about an certification for a standard. So 27006. Okay, so A is talking about your 27006. So ISO 27001, it's a standard of information security management and system. Okay, so correct answer is B. The implementation of ISO 27001, it's a legal requirement in most of the countries. True or false? Okay, so it's false. It's never a requirement standard. It is not talking that it is legal requirement. No, it's never. Totally depending on to an organization, organization to organization, whether they want to adopt or not. Now, what is the purpose to conduct a gap analysis for ISO 27001? To identify area where an organization does not meet the requirement of a standard, to develop an implementation of a plan, to implement control, to meet the requirement of a standard, or to conduct an internal audit. Okay, so it identifies the area where an organization does not meet the requirement of the standard. Okay, so the correct answer is A. Here is your third question. What are the benefits of ISO 27001 certificate? Improve information security, enhance reputation, legal compliances, all of the above. It's D. Not only it is going to improve your information security, enhance the reputation as well. Remember, building a trust between the user and the consumer. Okay, if the organization is ISO 27001 certified, that means information which have been kept, it's kept private and secret. Legal compliances, yes. It is taking care of it as well as per the country standard. Okay, so which of the following is not a step in getting ready of an ISO 27001 certificate? What do you think? Okay, conducting a gap analysis, developing and implementing plan, implementing control to meet the requirement of a standard, providing financial statement to the certificate body. Okay, correct answer is D, right. Providing financial statement to the certification body, because conducting a gap analysis is again a part of it. Okay, second part, when we are going to raise foreign certificate, before to that we are doing an internal audit. Okay, not only that, we are conducting the gap analysis as well to identify is there any particular gap, or is there any particular additional control to be added or not. Developing and implementing of a plan, it's a part of it. PDCA, plan to check and act. Implementing control to meet the requirement of a standard. Yes, we are doing that as well. Okay, SOC 1 and SOC 2. Okay, so these are the levels. Okay, so let's say I started working with an SOC. So there will be an L1, which will be, you can say, the base one. Okay, the first level, what they are going to do, they are going to monitor the network. What has been coming and what has been going, they are going to rectify whether the incident is an false positive or not. That is the part of an L1. Then we have the L2 team. L2 team, what they are going to do, they are going to do an incident response, IR team, or they also can do an forensic investigation as well. Okay, so whether that particular event is a critical one, they are going to identify the event and they are going to work on that event. Or if there is any attack has been happened inside an organization, they are going to rectify, check for that log, how the attack has been done, do the post investigation of it. Okay, find the root cause of of that particular incident. Then we have the L3 team who will be sitting onto the top. They are going to manage this L1 and L2. We also call it as a team lead. Okay, by any chance, if required, they can perform the pen test as well. Okay, DMC is known as your demilitarized zone. Okay, let's say, okay, let's say this is my organization. Okay, and this is an internet. Now, what I have done, there is a firewall over here, and there is an TMZ at place. Now, the employee which has been sitting over here, what he will be doing, he want to make a request. Request has been made from his system. It will go inside an firewall. Then it will go inside an DMZ. DMZ is the place where we are going to host certain servers. Okay, servers as in your web servers or your email servers, which I don't want that request to be going into an internet, because for an organization, internet is an unsecured one. An internal network is a secured one. So this is placed into your internal network. Okay. So I'm going to host certain servers over here, email servers. Okay. So email servers are what? They are particularly your private one. Okay. For every organization, there is a domain. Let's say for InfosecTrain. So my email ID will be something like this. Abhishek@infosectrain.com. I want only the internal employee can send me an email. Apart from that, no one can send me an email. So what I will be doing, I will be placing the email server over here into the DMZ. Okay, how the request will be going from this internal network to the DMZ, and from the DMZ you will be getting your reply back. Now let's say Abhishek email ID is abhishek@gmail.com. Now it's a private account. Okay, private account, that means it will sitting onto an internet. The request will be going from an internal network to the firewall, then to the internet. And from an internet, it will be getting a reply back, and from here to the system. Okay, so as of now, it is coming from an internet, from an unsecured one. And over here, it is coming from a secured one. So organization generally say, you can say, host certain server into the DMC. Okay, best practice, what you can check for that server, or what you can do, you can check for that domain. Okay, so what we have tilt all, soft hard and a hard fail. Okay, so soft hard means what email, or let's say what domain or what IP to be allowed. Okay, or what IP not to be allowed. So we create a rule onto the firewall. Okay, so that rule has been created on the firewall, what request to be allowed or what request not to be allowed into the DMZ. The DMZ is what is your secured one. It is sitting inside your organization network. This is my internal network. This is the firewall, and this is my DMZ. It's into my internal network, and this is an internet which I'm not trusting. I'm hosting the server over here. The request has been coming from internal network. I'm not relying onto an internet. Okay, so it's onto an budget of an organization whether they want a DMZ or not. Firewall has been working onto the rules. So we are going to create a rule onto the firewall. What to be allowed or what not to be allowed. Okay, so how I'm going to create a rule? Let's say I don't want, let's say 5 set of an ID who are working as an intern. Okay, so they can access internet. Now I will be creating a rule that they cannot download any image file, they cannot download any exe file. So I will be creating a rule onto the firewall. If you visit onto the website and try to download an image file, that not been allowed. Okay, so how I'm doing that? I'm creating a rule onto the firewall, giving certain privileges to their IDs. Okay, they are not having the root access privileges. They are only having a normal access privileges. Okay, again, your firewall is not maintaining all the security rules. What we have done, we had started using IDS and IPS. Aware of this IDS and IPS? Anyone? Intrusion detection and intrusion prevention. Okay, so it works onto your file signature. Okay, it is going to detect the file signature. Let's say I'm sending an exe file. Okay, for exe file, the signature will be 4D5A. It is going to read that whether the file signature is correct or not. So it should be allowed or not. Okay, again, it's a predefined value. You can simply search over the Google file signatures. you will get the list of it. For all the extension, we have certain file signatures. Yes, you can write the exam. It's not an issue. Okay. So I guess now they are giving the new voucher. If you are already having a voucher, a previous one which is not expired, you can write the exam, you will get a certificate of it. If you are not having a voucher, you will be going to purchase a new voucher. They are going to give the new vouchers for it. Okay, certain changes will be there. Okay, so the plan for start solving the new question set. Okay, look at the go through the some modules. There are certain changes into the new modules of in 2022. Okay, so it won't be an you can say hurdle. Almost you have the covered all the basic understanding of your ISO standard. What are the implementation? Each and every working is the same. Just the thing is some new policies have been implemented. Have a look onto that and give a good rate of it. That's it. More than enough. No need to undertake any particular training for it. By going with a self study, you can go with it. Okay, renewal will be, you can say, by every year they are going to send an email. Okay, so they will be saying that let's say it's valid for 3 years. Okay, so they are going to send an email. Validity is left for 2, validity is left for 1 year. Okay, depending on to the organization again. Okay, from where you had purchased the from which particular organization, which particular certificate body you are going with, depending on to that. Okay, just have one thing over there. So whenever you are writing an exam, just go through the certification body, what rules and regulations are there, and the certificate validity is for an year or a lifetime. Again, look for that too. If it is for a lifetime, well, that's great. You can go for it. If it's for certain years, then yes, there is a process for a renewal of a certificate. For organization, it's a mandatory rule, renewal of it. They have to renew it. How that is, how the renewal is been done? Let's say my organization takes a certificate of an ISO. Now every year there is an that certificate body is going to conduct an audit. Okay, they are going to review each and every control. If anything to be changed, they are going to give the set of it that need to be changed. Okay, again in second year there will be an audit. It won't be a surprise audit again. Okay, there will be never a surprise audit. Audit will be performed, new things to be implemented, perform it on to the third before the renewal. There will be an audit. Post to on to that audit, you will your certificate will get renewed. Okay, this is for an organization, not for an individual person. Go with the latest one, 2022, because this is the mandatory now. Every organization is following this thing. 2022. Okay, 2013 has been expired. So go with the latest one. If you have already gone with the training of an ISO 27001 2023, okay, so post to that, go with the self-study and plan for an exam. I might sure you are having the videos as well if you have gone to the training, or you will be having some expecting that. Okay, so if not, or if you haven't taken any training, so again I will be suggesting first go for the training if you haven't took any of the training on it. Okay, go for the training, then schedule your exam, then prepare for an exam, and then write an exam. PDCA, plan, do, check, and act. Yes, it will be more than enough to appear for an CC exam for IC square 2. Okay, again, one more I am going to suggest over here. If you are planning for an CC, go with the threat intel part. Okay, majorly most of the question of an threat intel will be asked over there. Threat intel, intelligence gathering, or incident response. So you can say basically of an defensive side of an security. It is moreover focused onto a defensive security. Lifetime best certification in security, there are no best certification. Every day we have to keep ourselves updated. When we started the session, what I said, we have to keep ourselves updated. Okay, if you want to survive into the market with one certification, I am having two certification. Okay, other person is having three certification, other person is having one certification, other person is having five certification. Who will be getting most priority over here? And we are going for the same position inside an organization. This person will be asked first, isn't it? Then this person. Then there will be my number. In between, there is only one safe. Out of this two, one has been selected. I am been left as it is. To have a certificate, it is always going to add a cherry on the cake on your resume. So always plan for a certificate. Small souls, it's not like that. You go with a big certification, go with a high certification, plus small certificates at the beginning. Go with the basic one, then go with the advanced one. Okay. For CISA CISSP, the renewal cost as per your exam is less. What the cost of an exam is almost often 660 USD. Renewal cost for the CISA is different. It's of an ISACA body, okay, an IC square body. Okay, renewal cost is almost, I guess so, 110 USD, something in between. I'm not very much sure of that. Okay, all between 40 to 50 USD. And one more thing, you have to update with an points as well. You have to maintain certain point by attending certain webinars or the training. Okay, so collect all those credit scores, upload. Again, it's a mandatory process. Maintain it in 3 years and go for the renewal post to that. Okay, so when we are going with an exam of an CISA or CISSP, we are sitting at certain position. At that position, this fees is not a big deal, isn't it? Best certificate to start your job profile. If you want to start a career in defensive security, go with Security Plus. If you want to start in offensive, go with CEH. Okay. Again, there are certain prerequisites, basic understanding of network and basic understanding of Linux has been required for both this certification. Okay. Then plan for this certification, schedule your interview. Okay. Then move into this domain, focus into this domain. Post to that, we have many certification in defensive part as well. Okay. You can plan for threat intel. So there is a certification of CTIA. You can plan for forensic as well. CHFI if you want to move into an SOC. Plan for CSA. Again, if you are into an offensive, plan for Pentest Plus. Then plan for CPENT. Okay. Then plan for OSCP. Again, it's your offensive security. Dedicatedly, if you want to move into a cloud domain, again, depending on which environment you want to work for, either into an AWS, either into an Azure. So go with a basic first. Okay, so AWS fundamental, or in AZ, you can go with AZ 109 or AZ 104, AZ 900. Then plan for the security 105 over here, Azure security, AWS security. Then you can move into, you can plan for any other certification. Okay, CCSK, again, it's an open book exam. ISO is also an open book exam. ISO talks about information security. Okay, what is the full form of an CISA? Certified Information System Auditor. Okay, it's only talks about information security. It talks about system auditing. This is an umbrella. Under this umbrella, your ISO has been sitting. Difference between cyber security and information security. Information security. Cyber security is a subset of an information security. Okay, system security talks about each and everything. Not only cyber security, it talks about the physical security, each and every part of an security of an organization. Are planning for CISA. Okay, so it's management course. Again, there are certain prerequisites. That prerequisites are 5 years of experience in security audit or into a cyber security domain or information security domain. Then you can plan for the CISA exam. If it goes under your endorsement part, how the endorsement has been done. Once you completed the exam, okay, so post to that, to claim for a certificate, you need to go with this endorsement part. Okay, so you will be contacting a person who is already CISA certified. He is going to verify it whether you are getting into the criteria or not, whether you have 5 years of experience. Okay, showcase all those details, all the information will be checked from him, and he is you are certificate for it. Okay. In the meantime, you will be getting a certificate. It's not like that after completing the exam, you won't be getting a certificate. You will be getting a certificate, but that certificate will be of an associate level. Okay. This not only goes for CISA, this goes for CISM as well. This goes for BIS, goes for your CRISC as well, CCSP as well. So these are all your management certificate. For management certificate, the prerequisites are the same for an ISACA and for IC square. The requirement for ISO will be security understanding. Okay, if you are already working into an information security or into an cyber security, yes, you can plan for it. ISO. Okay, because this talks about information security. So yes, having the knowledge of an information security, then only we have to implement the security rules. Then only we have to implement compliances inside an organization. So yes, if you are already having a certificate, I won't be suggesting you to go with an ISO. ISO will give you an extra benefit, yes. Okay, post to that, plan for an higher certification into a management side, plan for CISM or plan for CISSP. Okay. So let's call it for the day. Thank you everyone.